everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and today is day 4 of Micro Machine March, so we're going to be looking at the Star Wars Micro Machines Planet Tatooine Playset, released in 1995. Now, this playset was first seen in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, or I should say inspired by, since it has two distinct areas from the film combined together. Now, for its dimensions, it is 9.5 inches wide, around 6.5 inches long, and with its height, it's around 2.25 inches. So this bad boy is pretty nicely sized. Now, being big, does it have a lot going for it? Absolutely. We're looking at 5 minifigures, 1 exclusive ship, an opening Sarlacc pit, a rotatable wart, and a moving Max Rebo band, which is pretty cool. So obviously we have a lot to go over, so let's get started. Now, kicking this review off, looking at the mold, I never done a playset really before except the giant Death Star, so forgive me. So on the bottom, we have our copyright crap, and basically mechanisms for the gimmicks, which we will get to sooner. Now, it may seem cheap and hollow, but, you know, this stuff is made out of good durable plastic for the time. Now, on the top, we have Jabba's Palace right here, which is 2 pieces. Basically, you have to assemble it when you get it, and we'll open this in a second. But just look at all the sides on here, all the detailing. Fantastic stuff. Now, for the terrain, we have a lot of rocks, little ledges, and this is beautiful. When I was a kid, I would use my imagination with this so much. Like, this was my playset growing up. I love this thing. Little ramp here, more rocks. Rocks on the side. Right here is a gimmick, which we will get to. And this activates a gimmick as well. And then we have the Sarlacc pit, before it was CG'd with a beak. So we have our tentacles, teeth, and the mouth, which many people would say looks like a butthole. And then we have our peg port for a ship. And yeah, that's basically everything for the main base. Just a nice layout. We have wart here, which I'll get to in a second. And then 2 buttons here for the gimmicks. So now let's take a look at wart and then what's inside that palace. Now, for those of you who don't know who Wart is, in Return of the Jedi, there's a scene where a creature that looks just like this is basically outside of this anthill type mound. And it sees this little creature here running through the desert. And it shoots its tongue out and eats it and then makes a burp sound. And I always loved that. But as you can see, this is very detailed, and I wish we got a figure of this. But it rotates all the way around, and you can see all these little bumps, and its little tiny hands. Just a fantastic job. Now, a quick pass at all these rocks. There's a little creature it eats. Just a pretty damn good job. Up the hill, there's a Sarlacc pit. We can see all that great detail. Just a fantastic job. So, let's take a look at the palace. Alright, for the palace, you just open it up like so. And there we can see Max Rebo's little keyboard. A place to put sliced noodles. Then we have the place to put Jabba. And around here, we have a bunch of stickers. And in the back, we can see a little miniature Han Solo and Carbonite, which is pretty sick. And below that, well, actually, we could remove the back of this palace here and have a closer look. Right here is supposed to be the trapdoor to the Rancor pit. So you open it up, and there's a skeleton with some rocks. Pretty sick. I loved that as a kid. And Max Rebo's little keyboard thing is pretty sick. Bunch of buttons. The keyboard here. Awesome. So that pretty much does it for all the details. So now let's go over the paint. Alright, looking at the paint, we're basically looking at light tan, dark tan, or brown. The creature is a dark brown with black for eyes. We have a metallic brown, almost like a dirty penny, for Jabba's Palace. And then we have white and pink for the Sarlacc pit, or the pit of cocoon, whatever you would like to call it. Now, if we open up Jabba's Palace, actually on the door as well, we have a bunch of stickers that you can apply. Here we have all Jabba's henchmen and visitors. And then on the inside, we have black, bronzish color with tan for Max Rebo's little piano. And then a metallic gray for Han and Carbonite. So all in all, a very nicely detailed piece with an equally as nice paint job. Alright, for the first figure, we have Slave Leia. We can see some nice paint, gold and maroon. Brown boots, a little bleeding on our forehead and leg. But the detail is all there and fantastic. Pretty cool. Gotta love Princess Leia. And then we have Sly Snoodles, the original main sinner of the Max Rebo band. And she's done pretty well. We have silver, red lips, blue spots, brown skirt. And it looks a little green where the blue bled into the yellow there. But great mold. Very cool. And she also has white for her tusk, which are down here, and her little feather. And then we have Max Rebo himself, and I think they did a decent job. Nice blue and black for the eyes. Great details on his skin. Pretty sick. Nice job on him. Then we have everybody's favorite bounty hunter, Boba Fett, and look at all that detail from his belt to his gun, helmet, his little sensor right there, his legs. Fantastic. And the paint, we got yellow, that maroonish brown, green, the blue is the main color, black for the gun. Just a fantastic piece. I think they did a decent job here. This jetpack. Nice. And our final figure is Jabba the Hutt and Salacious Crumb. Very nicely done here. We got some green and brown paint, orange and black for the eyes. A little brown for the tongue coming out. And look at all that detail. Over here we have that little canister that holds all the frogs Jabba the Hutt eats. And that's painted pretty good too. Salacious Crumb's got brown and black for his face. Pretty sick. Looking at the side. All the details there. And this bad boy's small. Has 2 peg ports right here, so that way you can plug them into the base. We'll look at that in a second. But all in all, a fantastic little miniature of Jabba the Hutt. So that does it for the figures. So now let's take a look at the exclusive ship. Now for our ship, it's basically the Sand Skiff, or the real name is the Bantha II Cargo Skiff. And these were seen in Return of the Jedi, and another hit. You know, this is a great looking ship. Now because of age, mine is a little warped here, as you can tell. But all the details there, and it's not too bad. On the bottom, we have our copyright crap, peg hole, some nice detailing. Right here should be the engines, the repulsors, I guess you could say. Coming on back to our steering vanes, some nice details. On the side, we have our armor and railing, and that's done pretty well. Right over here, we have our plank, where Luke Skywalker would fall off of. Just an amazing piece here. And then even on the interior, we have some lines for the floor. Right here's our control panels. Just awesome. Very nice. Now for the paint, we're just looking at brown and dark gray and light gray. And that's basically it for the most part. All in all, a nice addition to the Micro Machines collection. Now before I get to the gimmicks, all these minifigures have a place on this bad boy. Jabba goes right there. Then we have Princess Leia, which I can't get to stay, but she slides right there. I don't have the heart to super glue it. And then we have Max Rebo, who fits in right there. And then Sly Snoodles, which I always have a problem. There's 2 pegs here, 2 pegs on the bottom. And maybe it's because my fingers are chubby, but try and get that in there. And basically you have Max Rebo's band right here. And the first gimmick, you turn this little boulder. And Max Rebo moves back and forth, and Sly rocks while she sings. And that is pretty sharp. I loved that as a kid. Now, if I take a piece of Jabba's palace, and of course I get it wrong when I'm on camera, and I put that in like so. In the back here, there is another Max Rebo band guy. So, you know, when you turn this and they start moving, that blew me away. That is sick. I like that a lot. And then over here, Jabba and Leia look pretty good together, I must say. I do like that a lot. Now, coming over to the Sarlacc pit. Now Leia's going to fall out. There we go. The gimmick here is pretty sweet. For example, let's take Greedo. Yeah, he's back from the dead. He escaped Han, who shot first in the original trilogy. Oh, crap, he fell into the Sarlacc pit. Then he hit this button here, and it will swallow him. And there you go, Greedo's gone again. Like, you know, these things are great for using your imagination as a kid. Now we got a peg port here, so technically we could take our Bantha skiff, and it just holds in like that, and it's pretty strong. You could shake it, move it. It's not going anywhere. Now you could also put other ships on another Tatooine vessel. Here we have a swoop bike, and it's completely out of scale, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Now you could also put Jabba's sail barge, which that's what I always did as a kid. Because who the hell wants a sand skiff? You know, it's Jabba's sail barge. Come on. And you can put this on the side. And that's sharp. I think that looks pretty good, actually. But all in all, that's everything for the gimmicks. Just to cover them again, we got a little peg for our ships. Button here for the Sarlacc pit to open and swallow your figures. And then we have the Max Rebo band, which dances. Hooray. So that's everything for the gimmicks. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Micro Machines Planet Tatooine Playset. Again, these are settings first seen in Return of the Jedi, and this toy is just taking Jabba's palace and the Sarlacc pit and putting them together to make one awesome playset. Now again, for the size, we're looking at 9.5 inches across, 6.5 inches long, and about 2.25 inches tall. So this is a very nice set. And what makes the playset so good? First of all, the detail is amazing. Everything that should be there is there. From the rocks, the creatures, the Sarlacc pit, Jabba's palace. It's beautiful. When I was a kid, I loved this thing so much. And as an adult, I still do. Second, the paint. It's a bare minimum, but it's exactly what it needs. Pink and white for the Sarlacc pit, tan and brown for the desert, and in Jabba's palace we have the stickers with all those different colors. And I must say the stickers were a nice touch. Now also, you get a couple figures. My favorite is probably the Sly Snoodles and Boba Fett, but besides them, you get Jabba the Hutt, you get Princess Leia, Max Rebo, some awesome stuff and very unique to this particular set. Now, besides those figures, you do get the exclusive skiff vehicle, and I must say, it's not cheaply made. It's very detailed, very true to the film, nice paint job, it's perfect. So the main purpose of a playset is to utilize your minifigures and ships, and this does it to the max. And speaking of max, we have the Max Rebo band, which when you turn this, they dance. We have the Sarlacc pit, hitting the button can swallow figures. That is huge playability there. And they even went the distance to have this little minor character that's only in there for about 10 seconds. Have a nice molded sculpt that can rotate all around. Awesome. And one of the greatest reasons why I love this playset, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it before, this is not just for figures and ships that come with it. It's compatible with every Micro Machines minifigure and ship they release. As you can see, not only do I have the figures that come with it, but I also have a IG-88, a Greedo, and also 2 other ships. So the possibilities are endless. So if you're looking to buy this bad boy, it came out in 1995, so I would suggest going on eBay or Amazon or other third-party sites, hobby shops, or little mom-and-pop toy shops. You know, those places are great for finding old toys, sometimes still in package. So I recommend this playset for anybody who's a fan of Jabba the Hutt, Return of the Jedi, or that great scene at the Sarlacc pit. You know, having this out, looking at it and messing with it for the review, it just brings me back to being a kid in a way. This thing is awesome. It really is. All the playsets are, but specifically this one, for me anyway, I had this as a kid. I loved it. And like I said, I still do. Tons of nostalgia. It's real for me right now. So anyway, that does it for day 4. Thank you very much for joining me. That's everything I have to say about this playset today. If you enjoyed this review, please give me a like. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.